President Joe Biden announced plans to pardon people convicted of simple possession of marijuana on the federal level. But he also went further, also urging governors to do the same at the state level. Plus, he's calling for a review of how marijuana is scheduled as a drug. Well, WATE 6 on your side legal analyst Greg Isaacs is with us. Greg, thank you for being here.
Lori, it's great to be here.
All right, let's start by talking about what is in the executive order. Specifically, it covers possession and not other crimes.
Well, with a stroke of the pen, President Biden has ordered pardons for everyone convicted of possession, simple possession of marijuana in federal courts. It's very impressive regarding the scope of the executive order, but not very impressive in terms of the depth. Lori, in federal court, it's very unusual for someone to be charged, convicted, or plead to what amounts to simple possession. Typically, the feds, the FBI, DEA, they are looking at people that are possessing marijuana for possession, for distribution, and resale. When you see simple possession, typically it's someone that's been arrested in a national park or other federal property. So again, the scope is astounding, but really the depth of what is going to happen, not very impressive.
What is the president asking specifically from the states?
Well, he also asked the states to do the same, called on governors to pardon those convicted of simple possession, and it's much more prevalent and common in state court. People getting arrested on a daily basis throughout the country in Knox County for simple possession. But here's the problem. When the drinking age was raised from 18 to 21, the federal government requested again for the states to get on board, but it was kind of a carrot and a stick. They were going to eliminate federal highway funding if you didn't get on board with the initiative.
Right.
Here, it's just a simple request. No surprise, because the red states are saying, sorry, but no thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, really quickly, explain the schedule concept when it comes to drugs and why marijuana is Schedule 1. What does that mean?
Well, because the federal sentencing guidelines are driven by drug quantities and schedules in terms of determining someone's sentence. And actually, you have conversion tables that are based on marijuana equivalents. And under some scenarios, it can be the equivalent of heroin, LSD, depending on quantities, whatever. It's really archaic. When you have someone involved in a pill mill, you extrapolate how many pills equal pounds of marijuana to determine a sentence. So what he has called on is the Department of Justice, the Sentencing Commission, to make sense of marijuana and not lump it in with Schedule 1, such as heroin, LSD, which is a very good idea. But basically, at the end of the day, what he's trying to accomplish is consistent with the norms of the country, with legalized marijuana in certain states. Kind of slowly decriminalize marijuana, but I don't think it's going to happen as quick with the stroke of a pen.
We're not there yet.
Not there yet.
All right, Greg.